Good afternoon, and welcome back to the Signal Innovation Showcase Series. I'm George Seifers, Editor-in-Chief of Signal Magazine. Our next presenter is Bill Musson, Senior Technical Sales Engineer at NextThink. So Bill, welcome to the podium.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the introduction, George. All right, terrific. Thanks a lot, everybody. All right, David, I got to ask you a question. Do you know what DEX is? Okay. So a lot of people aren't really sure what DEX is. It's a new kind of term that people are using. Second question then, sir, have you ever submitted a help desk ticket or reached out to your teams to try and get something fixed? So a lot of what I'm going to talk about is going to resonate with some of the headaches that you found in your environments. What we're here today to really talk about is the idea of digital employee experience, or DEX. Now, if you think about your own workday for the moment, and you're utilizing tools to get your work done. For example, how much work have you done with your phone or your computer, or, for example, other devices that you may have? These tools are integral to our ability to be able to work in our environments. And the interesting thing is that the work has actually changed. Our environment has changed. We used to have a traditional environment where you would come into the office and do your work, but now we're embracing the hybrid models that are out there today to help us be able to collect and correlate and be able to create in our environments. Now, this digital transformation has really brought a lot of benefits to our organizations today, but it's also provided a number of challenges as well. So are our digital environments providing empowerment to our employees, or are we causing frustration and other types of issues for our employees as well? So we'll take a look at that today. Now, my question really is, what is DEX, and why would we be encouraged to understand what is digital employee experience? The idea of the platform and bringing in information translates to increased productivity. So if you think about when technology is working correctly in your environment, your employees are more productive. They're able to actually do their tasks, and they're not fighting with the tools that they have. The other area that we look at is being able to engage or have higher engagement with our employees. So the idea here is, of course, if you've got employees that are frustrated by their environments and they can't get work done, then a positive DEX experience or an employee experience allows them to actually be able to work in that environment and feel more empowered to be able to do their work. One of the other key areas I think that a lot of people don't realize is that when you start thinking about the employment in our environments today, where we have employees that are, shall we say, wanting to work in the environments with tools that allow them to do their jobs. If they're having a bad experience, this may be a reason why they decide to go elsewhere. So the talent pool really appreciates a good working environment. Now, my name is Bill Musson. I think we talked a little bit about that in the beginning. I support the NextThink Federal team, and my goal today is really to give you a high-level overview of what digital employee experience would mean to your employees. Now, DEX has been around for about 20 years, but more than recently, we have had a number of organizations, Gartner and Forrester, start to add and realize that DEX needs to be something that is more apparent to our organizations. So Gartner last year added DEX to one of their charters and rated NextThink as one of the highest ability to operate and had the most completeness of vision. We're upper right quadrant, which is a testament of the work that we've done in this space. Now, when you think about digital employee experience, it's not about the tools that you have. It's not about the toys that you're playing with. The whole idea is to have a holistic ability to understand the entire environment that your employees are operating in. The key tenets of digital employee experience is the ability to have visibility of the entire environment. In other words, to be able to see everything that's going on. So a lot of times you see that your organization, the people that are working in the environment, are operating to try and do things. And the idea of digital employee experience is to have that ability to understand where are they located? Are they on premise? Are they remote? Are they on a physical device? Are they in a virtual environment? The type of operating systems and devices that they're operating on. What applications are they using? Are those applications operating in a good manner? Additionally, things like the network and how it's performing, and perhaps even all the way up to the data center or to the cloud where the applications reside. So that ability to see all of that information allows us to quickly start to understand what's going on in the environment. Now, it's not only important for us to be able to see these things, we need to be able to diagnose and understand what is going on if an employee is having an issue in the environment. So the ability to understand and look at the impact or the context or scope of where the problems are at in the environment is very, very important. Now, the ability to be able to diagnose issues that are happening in the environment allows us now to quickly and proactively address problems within the organization. Additionally, being able to diagnose and understand what's going on and triage the problem is a part of what we want to be able to do, but ideally, what we want to be able to do is to fix the issues at hand. So a complete digital employee experience platform gives you the ability to understand everything in the environment, be able to have that visibility, to quickly be able to diagnose and understand the issues that are happening in the environment, and then be able to fix those through the use of remote actions or other tools that allow for the employees perhaps to do self-help, to go out and ask the ability to be able to fix things that are going on. So one of the things that we look at from our platform's perspective at NextThink is to understand what is happening with the employees. Let's say that an employee is working on a problem and they're having an issue with an application, they're frustrated, they're working and they are unable to complete the tasks that they want to get done. Eventually they get frustrated enough and they submit a ticket to you so that you can go and investigate and understand what may be happening and fix that problem. This disruption in their environment is making their experience much, much more terrible, if you want to think about that. So the idea here is that they get fed up and to the point of where, okay, I need to open up a ticket because I am not able to get what I need to get done. Now, the help desk receives that ticket and they immediately jump into action, right? That's our number one thing as a help desk environment, is to go and be able to remediate and fix the problems that are being presented to us. This is a very reactive kind of environment. I received notification that there's a problem, and so therefore I need to go ahead and get that fixed. Ideally, what we want in a digital experience platform is the ability to be proactive. You as an employee or a customer shouldn't have to actually submit tickets. Our goal really is to get to the point where there are no tickets and we're fixing things proactively in the environment because we are able to see all the issues that are happening and then to be able to proactively address those. Now, that is a wonderful state, but we're still kind of reacting to the situation because we're looking at problems that are happening and we're trying to work in the background to remediate that issue. Ideally, we want to get to a preventative state. Now, in this kind of context, what we want to do is to be able to address the problems that are in the environment automatically and then be able to remediate those automatically. So a lot of organizations, you're looking at the ability for the customer to do self-help through the use of chatbots, for example, being able to use natural language queries and ask, hey, my computer is not working very well, it's slow, can you help me understand what's going on? The idea of using agents to be able to understand what is the processes going on that endpoint, then allow the system to automatically decide, okay, through a knowledge base or some sort of remediation capability, to allow that employee to actually self-actualize and self-repair the systems. So the whole goal here is to have a full observability, and an AI actuated platform for everything in your environment. So the platform today focuses on 3 key areas. We're looking at all the applications that are running on those systems, understanding who's using them, how they're performing. Additionally, understanding the operating system and how it's performing. Has it been updated? Is it properly configured for the environment? Has it been optimized for performance? And then finally, of course, the devices that are running. In other words, how is that hardware performing in context with everything else that that user's doing? So all that information, all those attributes are being brought into a centralized system to allow us to analyze what's going on with the devices, what's going on with the hardware and the software, and then be able to actually utilize the ability of intelligent remediation to be able to fix these problems. Now, this is not a one-time gather some data and then be able to utilize the information within the system. This is an ongoing ingestion of information from all of your different systems in real time. And it's a continuous loop back. So that's kind of what the infinity circle means over on the right side, is that this is always happening all the time. So I'm not looking at it in a 24-hour period. I'm not looking at it in a 12-hour period or a 1-hour period. This is a continuous loop and continuous feedback so that I can understand everything that's going on in the environment and be able to actually to resolve it. Now, the basis of the platform gives us a lot of capabilities, but we at NextThink have added on additional capabilities on top of those 3. So the big one, of course, is the understanding of your virtual environments. All right, it's so important today not only to be able to handle physical environments, the virtual environments also are an area that we want to have visibility into. So we've added the capability into the platform to understand how your VDI or your session-based compute environments are operating. Additionally, we are also looking at the ability to use conversational access, the idea of natural language learning or questions that are being asked by the employees. For example, they go into their team's environment and they ask a question, hey, can you tell me why this particular application isn't operating to par? And it's a very simple English question, and they get an answer that allows them to actually be able to look at how that is operating and be able to remediate it. Additionally, the use of AI, agentic AI capabilities at the desktop level now starts to allow us to do things automatically. All right, we're looking at how the power of the platform is being utilized on these different endpoint devices to allow us to be able to automatically discern what the problems are and then to be able to actually remediate them. Now, our goal, and I think the goal of anybody that's working in help desk, is 0 tickets, right? The more tickets that you have, the more costs that you're incurring. It's just a natural progression of the environment. So if you take a look at this slide, we're looking at all of these little triangles that you see on the right side. These are, the idea here is these are possible tickets that could be opened in your environment. Now, with the Zero Trust ticket mission, what we're trying to do is to be able to use technologies to reduce these tickets within the environment. The first one, of course, is proactive automation. Again, understanding what's happening in the environment to be able to see the issues that are occurring and proactively address them. The whole idea here is that by being proactive, I no longer am having the individuals submit tickets, and thereby I've got a ticket avoidance situation here. Then the other area that we're looking at is automated self-service. Again, employees want to be empowered. They want to be able to ask a question. They don't want to call into the help desk and be dealing with, answering questions from the help desk personnel or waiting for the help desk personnel to log into their system and try to ascertain what's going on. So the idea of automated self-service is being able, as an employee, to ask the questions and in for example, a chatbot or a knowledge base, and be able to get a quick answer back to be able to handle that on their own. Now, finally, the last area, which is kind of an excited area, This terminology may not last, but what we're doing is we're implementing what is called an autopilot. Again, the whole idea of being able to use like an agentic AI agent on the devices to start to automatically understand how is that device performing? How should I address the optimization of that device to make it operate at its peak efficiency? And doing this without even the input of the employee. It's basically looking and saying, hey, you know, we see that this device isn't operating at a good perspective clip. So let's go ahead and make the changes necessary to improve that. The other area that we're looking at too from an autopilot standpoint is understanding when issues are happening in the devices, in the operating systems, in the applications, and then helping through the use of the AI capabilities to get the answers necessary to be able to fix those things and then automate that process. Do it so that the employee doesn't even have to resolve these things themselves. They don't even know what's happening in the background. They just experience a great, wonderful operating environment, and therefore the tool set allows us to handle that. So again, our goal with the platform is to get down to 0 tickets. Now, this is a wonderful goal, and ideally, we'll try and get as close as possible with the tools that we're doing, but it's definitely a lot better than what the status in the environment is today. So this was a very high level of what digital employee experience is. If you want to learn more, we have a lot of organizations that are currently using our platform, and so even in the government over on the right side, you'll see that, you know, these are some of the organizations that are currently have the system deployed. But more importantly, if you want to learn about digital employee experience, we have a lot of resources that are available to you. Our community site, we also have a very nuanced, specific DEX hub that talks nothing other than digital employee experience. We have a number of book materials that you could take home and read with. And we also have a show called the Proactive IT Guy. His name is Tim Flower. He's brilliant. That does a show on LinkedIn and YouTube that you can also watch if you're interested. With that, I want to thank you for your time, and I appreciate you all being out here today.
Thank you, Bill. That was great. And thanks to the rest of you for hanging in there with us this late in the day. Our next and final session of the day will be in 10 minutes. It'll be on decisions needed for DevSecOps. Thank you.